This video essay will show how Islamic culture has been misrepresented in 21st century Hollywood cinema. 3 films will be examined. Firstly, American Sniper, directed by Clint Eastwood. Secondly, The Kite Runner, directed by Mark Foster. And thirdly, Borat, Cultural Learnings of America to Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, directed by Larry Charles. Islam is a religion based on the Quran and the teachings of Muhammad. Its adherents are Muslims. There are estimated to be 1.9 billion Muslims, the majority of whom live in 50 Muslim-majority countries. Pramagor notes, quote, ideologies may be invisible, yet they shape the world in important ways by influencing the action of individuals and groups. Point 1. Negative portrayal of Islamic culture can be deliberate and central to the film's messaging. In the war movie genre, the deviant party is quickly identified as the literal enemy of America. Germany and Japan following World War II, USSR during the Cold War, and North Vietnam in the Vietnamese War, or as it's called in Vietnam itself, the American War. In the 21st century, Iraq and Afghanistan became useful enemies. More broadly, the war on terror widened the scope of those cultures or religions considered to be the enemy. Ostensibly, the film American Sniper is an accurate account of events based on the autobiographical novel by Chris Kyle. This gives the film a special power. However, critics have noted the highly subjective narrative. Presumably, the screenplay varies even further from the actual events. The scenes of sniper training establish the American Navy SEALs to be dedicated, loyal, self-sacrificing. There is no doubt they have the moral high ground. The Iraqis themselves are seen as primitive, poor, but cunning. When a mother hands a child a grenade to throw at the Americans, it is a children overboard moment. Could anyone have empathy for a mother who sacrifices her own child? The director, Clint Eastwood, uses both mise-en-scène of a ravaged, uninhabitable streetscape and a high-angle, wide-shot looking down that likens Iraqis to vermin running around a garbage tip. In contrast, the shot of Chris Kyle is a close-up. He is racked by the moral dilemma of shooting a child. The audience forgives him because of the honourable notion that he must do this to keep his comrades safe. Point 2. Even if the director of the film is sympathetic to the Islamic religion, the demands of the Hollywood formula may unwittingly reinforce Islamophobic ideology. The Kite Runner was based on a novel by Khaled Hosseini. The early scenes of the film showing the protagonist Amir likely reflect Hosseini's early years wandering around the markets in his native Afghanistan. The kite flying symbolises childhood freedom and innocence. As it requires 2 boys to fly a kite, it also symbolises friendship and trust, worthy values. The adults in Amir's life are sophisticated and honourable. The scenery is breathtaking. Afghanistan and the Islamic people are positively portrayed. The film, at its essence, uses the formula of sin, guilt and redemption. However, along the way it digresses into a thriller, then love story. Then it transforms into a horror story. Brandt notes that the film, quote, builds up its image of Islamic terror through cinematic parameters, end of quote. A woman is stoned to death by the Taliban for infidelity. The viewer never sees her face, but the sound of the rocks hitting her body are unforgettable. Viewers will long remember the horror and brutality of the Taliban. The message is that Islamic fundamentalists are evil. Brandt notes that this, quote, matches the expectation of the viewers, end of quote. Point 3. The use of satire or humour does not absolve the director from Islamophobic ideology. The film Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, is a social satire and parody of conventional documentaries. The humour derives both from the unwitting responses of a series of interviewees and the buffoonery of the main character Borat and his sidekick Azamat. Campbell calls the film a mockumentary. He criticises Cohen for the, quote, value-laden system in which humour is used to reinscribe existing cultural hierarchies, end of quote. Curiously, Cohen chooses an actual country, Kyrgyzstan, rather than a made-up country, which he did in the film The Dictator. The Kazakhs are negatively portrayed, with Borat introducing the audience to his neighbour the rapist, kindergarten children with an assault rifle, and his sister the prostitute. A common thread in the film is the anti-Semitic views of the protagonist Borat. Quote, these rats are very clever, end of quote. There is disturbing imagery of the running of the Jews, shown to be a popular event in Kazakhstan festivals. The main characters have a primitive and superstitious view of Jewish people. The view is so hyperbolic that the real mockery is on those who hold those views. Campbell shoots down Cohen's humour defence. Quote, the ramifications are that any group who objects to an unrealistic portrayal of themselves is just plain stupid, as if the problem is that they can't get the joke. In summary, this essay has shown that the 21st century Hollywood stereotyping of Islamic people is predominantly negative. The film examples given show that this can be intentional, an unintended consequence, or a byproduct of humour.